All right, let's talk about the Canon EOS R50. But we're not just going to read a list of numbers off a spec sheet. No way. We're going to figure out what this thing actually does for your creativity. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so here it is, the camera itself. It's small, it looks pretty powerful, but the real question is, right? Is this going to be your next creative partner? Is this the tool that's going to help you tell your stories? Well, by the time we're done here, I promise you'll have your answer. So here's a quick look at what we're going to cover. First, a quick overview of the EOS R50. Then we'll get into the guts of the image quality. After that, we'll check out its chops for both still photos and for video. And finally, we'll talk about what powers your creativity day to day. Sound good? Let's go. All right, first up, the EOS R50, an overview. Let's talk about this compact powerhouse for the modern creator. Okay, look at this. The first thing that jumps out is just how tiny and light this thing is. We're talking around 375 grams. That's light enough that you'll actually want to bring it with you everywhere. But don't let the size fool you. Inside, it's got a real deal APS-C sensor. And trust me, that's way, way bigger than what's in your phone, and that's a huge deal for image quality. Plus, it's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built right in, because, it's made for how we share things today. Okay, let's move on. Section 2, inside the image. This is where we talk about the heart of your photos and videos. So the big number you're going to see everywhere is this, 24.2 megapixels. That's the resolution of that APS-C sensor we just talked about. And yeah, that's a really, really solid number. It's kind of the perfect sweet spot for most creators out there. But, 24.2 megapixels, what does that actually mean? What does that let you do when you're out there creating stuff? This right here is where that number becomes your creative superpower. First off, yeah, you can make huge, gorgeous prints that look super sharp. But for most of us, the real magic is in cropping. Think about it. You can completely change your composition after you've taken the picture. You can punch in, reframe it for Instagram, whatever. And you won't lose all that beautiful quality. It won't look like a blurry, pixelated mess. That's huge. And it's not just about how many pixels you capture, but how you save them. You've got options. You can shoot in JPEG, which works everywhere, super easy to share. Then there's HIF, which is kind of the new kid on the block. It gives you better quality than a JPEG, but at about the same file size. Pretty cool. And then you have RAW. RAW is the holy grail for editing. It's like the digital version of a film negative. It holds all the data, giving you absolute maximum flexibility when you're editing your photos. All right, we know it's got the detail, so let's talk about mastering still photos. From portraits to high-speed action, how does it stack up? You know that feeling, right? When you're trying to capture that one perfect moment, a dog jumping, a game-winning shot. Speed is everything. It's literally the difference between I got it and I just missed it. And this is where the R50 really steps up. It can blast out an incredible 15 frames per second. 15. And because it's using an electronic shutter, it's completely silent. That is absolutely fast enough to freeze just about any action, and lets you sift through all those shots to find that one perfect money shot. Okay, but there's always a catch when you shoot that fast, and it's called the buffer. Think of it like the camera's RAM. It's short-term memory. It can only hold so much at once. So as you can see here, you have a choice to make. If you're shooting JPEGs, you can rip off about 28 shots before it needs a breather. But if you're shooting those big, beautiful RAW files we talked about, you'll get about 7 shots. So do you want to shoot for longer, or do you want the absolute best quality for editing? That's the trade-off. But hey, this isn't just a photo camera. Let's switch gears and talk about video. Let's unlock some cinematic video and see what this thing can do for your stories in motion. The big headliner for video? Of course, it's stunning 4K UHD. And that's not just about having a super sharp, crispy video. The real magic is what it lets you do later. You can crop in, you can create smooth digital pans, all in post-production, and still export a beautiful full HD video. It's like having multiple camera angles from a single shot. Oh, and this is one of my favorite tricks in the book, high frame rate video. The R50 can shoot up to 120 frames per second in full HD. So what does that mean? It means you can slow things way down. You get that gorgeous, silky smooth cinematic slow motion that just makes everything look epic and so professional. Now, obviously, shooting beautiful 4K video is going to eat up your memory cards. You got to be ready for that. So let's get practical for a second. On a standard 32 gig card, you're looking at about 35 minutes of 4K video. If you drop down to full HD, that jumps to over an hour. It's It's one of those things that's really good to know before you head out the door, right? And just like with photos, you get to choose how you compress that video file. You can go for IPB standard, which is going to give you the absolute best quality, or you can choose IPB light, which is more compressed, meaning you can fit a lot more video on your card. So it really comes down to a simple question for your project. What's more important right now, quality or file size? Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty, powering your creativity. We're talking battery, workflow, the stuff that actually matters when you're using a camera day in and day out. Battery life. It's the question everyone always asks. And with the R50, there's a really interesting little hack. If you shoot by putting your eye up to the viewfinder, you'll get about 310 shots per charge, which is fine. But if you use the big screen on the back to frame your shots, that number jumps to around 440. That's a pretty significant difference. Just a little pro tip for you. And what about getting your photos and videos off the camera and out into the world? Well, it couldn't be easier. This is exactly how a modern camera should work. You shoot your masterpiece, you connect the camera to your phone with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, and bam, you can transfer your files right there, edit on your phone, post to social media instantly. No more running home to plug into a laptop. It's a game changer. So let's wrap this up. Who is this camera really for? Well, I'd say the EOS R50 is for you if you're ready to level up from your smartphone and see a huge jump in quality. It's for you if you're a traveler or a vlogger who needs something powerful but super compact. It's for you if you want one camera that does amazing photos and amazing 4K video. And finally, it's for you if you just want a simple, connected workflow that gets out of your way and lets you create. So look, we've torn through the specs, we've looked at the numbers, but honestly, the specs are just the tools in the toolbox. They're the starting point. The real question, the one that really matters, isn't what this camera can do. It's what are you going to do with it? What will you create?